Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, A Gentle Day Ending Beside by and quote. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't and oppose. Like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. There was nothing extraordinary about that morning. The sunlight slipped quietly through the curtains, landing in soft golden squares on the floor. I stretched lazily in bed, listening to the familiar rhythm of the world waking up, distant motorbikes, a neighbor's door closing, birds negotiating their breakfast plans outside the window. And then, as always, I felt it, a gentle weight against my side. Bye. He didn't bark. He didn't jump. He simply leaned his warm body against me as if to say, I'm here. The day can begin now. Bye has this way of turning ordinary mornings into something softer. His fur is warm from sleep, slightly messy, and he always smells faintly like sunshine and clean blankets. When I sit up, he tilts his head, ears lifting in curiosity, as if asking whether today will be filled with adventure or just quiet companionship. Either way, he is ready. We walk into the kitchen together. I make coffee. He waits patiently for breakfast. Sometimes he sits so properly that he looks like he's posing for a portrait. Other times, his tail taps the floor in an uncontrollable rhythm of excitement. It's impossible not to smile. The day moves forward in simple tasks. I answer emails. I tidy the room. I check my phone too often. And every time I pause, I find by watching me, not in a demanding way, but in a gentle, attentive way. It's as if he studies my moods more carefully than I do. When I sigh, he stands up and comes closer. When I laugh at something on my screen, he wags his tail as though he understands the joke. When I get lost in my thoughts, he rests his chin on my knee, grounding me back into the present. There's something profoundly comforting about knowing that someone, human or animal, chooses to stay near you without expectation. Bye doesn't care about productivity, deadlines, or achievements. To him, my presence is enough. Late in the morning, we step outside for a short walk. The air is light, not too hot, not too cold. Bye walks beside me, occasionally pulling forward when a scent captures his imagination. He examines the world with such sincerity, as if every blade of grass holds a secret worth discovering. Watching him reminds me how rushed I often am. I walk to get somewhere. Bye walks to experience something. And maybe that's the first lesson he teaches me each day. By afternoon, the house grows quieter. The outside world hums at a lower volume. Bye curls up near my desk while I continue working. His breathing becomes slow and steady, and sometimes I find myself matching my breath to his without realizing it. There is an unspoken language between us. When I shift in my chair, he lifts his head. When I stand up, he stretches dramatically, as if he too has important responsibilities waiting. He follows me from room to room, not because he must, but because he wants to. That choice means everything. In a world where people often rush past one another, distracted and distant, Bye's loyalty feels like a gift. He doesn't scroll through notifications. He doesn't compare. He doesn't judge. He simply stays. Later, we play. I toss his favorite toy across the living room, and he races after it with joyful determination. His paws slide slightly on the floor, and he skids to a stop, triumphant. He brings it back, eyes sparkling, ready to repeat the same game as if it were brand new. I sometimes wonder what it must be like to carry that kind of enthusiasm for simple pleasures. As the sun begins to dip lower, we sit together by the window. The sky turns shades of orange and soft pink. Bye rests his head on my lap, and I absent-mindedly run my fingers through his fur. The moment feels suspended, almost sacred. There are no grand achievements happening, no milestones, no applause, just a human and a dog sharing warmth in the fading light. And yet, it feels complete. It teaches me something subtle but powerful. Love doesn't always arrive in dramatic gestures. Sometimes it arrives quietly, lies beside you, and breathes in rhythm with your heart. Evening settles softly around us. The lights in the house glow warmly, creating small circles of comfort against the dark. I finish my final tasks of the day, close my laptop, and stretch my arms above my head. I notices immediately. He stands. He approaches. He waits. This is our favorite part of the day, the unwinding. We sit on the floor together. I scratch behind his ears, and his eyes slowly close in contentment. He sighs, that deep, satisfied sigh that sounds like trust. There's something profoundly moving about the way animals trust us. They place their safety, their comfort, even their happiness in our hands. And in return, they offer something many humans struggle to give consistently, unconditional presence. As I look at by resting peacefully beside me, I realize that our relationship is built on small, repeated acts of care. Filling his bowl, taking him outside, cleaning his paws after the rain, listening to his subtle signals when he feels anxious or excited. These small acts are not chores. They are expressions of responsibility and love. And in caring for him, I find that I am also caring for myself. A gentle day ending beside by reminds me that life does not need to be extraordinary to be meaningful. We often chase big achievements, dramatic changes, and visible success. But happiness can quietly grow in ordinary routines shared with those who depend on us. In today's fast-paced world, where stress, comparison, and digital noise surround us constantly, Bai's companionship offers a powerful lesson. Slow down. Pay attention. Be present. True connection, whether with animals or people, requires time, patience, and empathy. Living with a dog teaches responsibility. It teaches consistency. It teaches compassion. When we care for animals, we learn to look beyond ourselves. We become more sensitive to needs that cannot always be expressed in words. That sensitivity gradually shapes how we treat other humans too. If we can learn to be patient when our dog makes a mess, perhaps we can also be patient when a friend makes a mistake. If we can wake up early to take our dog outside, perhaps we can also show up more reliably for the people who trust us. If we can celebrate our dog's small joys, perhaps we can rediscover our own. A gentle day ending beside Bai is not just about comfort, it is about growth. It reminds me that kindness practiced daily becomes character, that responsibility embraced with love becomes purpose, and that the bond between humans and animals is not one-sided. It transforms both lives. So tonight, as Bai curls up beside me and the world outside grows quiet, I understand something simple yet profound. The value of a day is not measured by how much we accomplish, but by how deeply we connect. And if we can carry that lesson into our relationships, with our families, our friends, our communities, and the animals who share our homes, we create a life that is softer, kinder, and more meaningful. I may not speak my language, but he teaches me every day.